In the heart of the offseason, the Chicago Bears find themselves grappling with an all-too-familiar narrative. Injuries are already beginning to cloud the horizon during organized team activities. As we gear up for the 2026 season, it's crucial for Bears fans to stay alert. With several key defenders either limited or absent from practice, the health of the team is becoming a pivotal storyline. The question on every fan's mind is simple. Can this defense rebound from the disappointing outings of 2025? Let's break down the most notable injuries and what they mean for the Bears as we move closer to the season. And as always, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Kicking things off is the situation surrounding Kyler Gordon, a player whose presence on the field is synonymous with stability in the secondary. Gordon was on hand during OTAs, but had to limit his participation before heading inside during team drills. Reports indicate he is dealing with a soft tissue injury, a concern that resonates deeply with Bears fans, given Gordon's history of similar issues. Last season was a nightmare for him. Limited to just 3 regular season appearances, the Bears clearly missed his playmaking ability. The silver lining here is that his latest injury doesn't seem severe enough to keep him off the field entirely, but any injury involving Gordon raises eyebrows. Concern level? A solid 6.5 out of 10. It's far too early to hit the panic button, but a healthy offseason for Gordon is a must if the Bears are to improve their defensive standing. Next up, we have rookie defensive back Malik Muhammad, who is absent from practice, though the reasons remain shrouded in mystery. The lack of clarity makes it challenging to assess how serious this situation might be. However, as he's expected to compete for playing time in a secondary that struggled last season, his development is crucial. For now, this is more of a monitoring situation than a cause for alarm. Concern level? A low 3 out of 10. Until we have more details, let's keep our fingers crossed for the young talent. Then there's veteran defensive back Cam Lewis, who left practice early under the care of trainers. While he may not be a household name, Lewis has the potential to play a significant role this season, providing much-needed depth at nickel corner and safety. The good news is that early indications suggest the injury isn't serious, but it's definitely a situation worth keeping an eye on. Concern level? A 5 out of 10. Nothing to panic about yet, but let's hope he's back on the field soon. The Bears have also made a significant investment in veteran guard Jonah Jackson, which is why his limited participation has raised some eyebrows. Although he was present, he wasn't a full participant, and considering his lengthy injury history, every absence is noteworthy. Teams often take a cautious approach with veteran linemen during OTAs, so while this isn't a crisis, it's definitely a situation that demands attention. Concern level? 5.5 out of 10. Bears fans should be eager to see him fully healthy as training camp approaches. Shifting gears to linebacker TJ Edwards, he remains sidelined while recovering from a fractured fibula. The good news is that all signs indicate he'll be ready to go when training camp kicks off, and while the Bears have depth behind him, his leadership in the defense is irreplaceable. Concern level? A reassuring 2 out of 10. As long as Edwards' recovery stays on track, this is a relatively minor issue. However, the most pressing injury concern may belong to Dayo Odeyingbo. The pass rusher is recovering from a torn Achilles, one of the most daunting injuries for any player in the league. The Bears are in dire need of help opposite Montez Sweat, and Odeyingbo was expected to play a significant role in that plan. His status for Week 1 remains uncertain, which ramps up the concern level to a striking 7.5 out of 10. Until he can get back on the field, this will linger as one of Chicago's biggest injury questions. Lastly, we can't overlook offensive tackle Ozzie Trapilo, who is still on the mend from a torn patellar tendon suffered during the playoffs. This absence isn't surprising to the Bears. They've had time to prepare for it. The concern level here sits at 4 out of 10, as they seem to have options at tackle, especially with Braxton Jones expected to return. As we stand at this juncture in the offseason, it's crucial to note that the Bears aren't facing any glaring season-threatening injury crises. However, the situations concerning Gordon and Odeyingbo warrant close attention as we inch closer to training camp. For a defense that struggled mightily in 2025, staying healthy is paramount, perhaps even more critical than any tactical adjustments or roster changes. If the Bears are serious about making a playoff push in 2026, getting their key defenders back on the field is going to be a storyline that fans will need to watch closely throughout the summer. Now, As we transition to the next piece of news, let's keep our focus sharp. There's plenty more to discuss regarding the Bears' offseason maneuvers and how they might shape the upcoming season. The fate of the Bears' new stadium project has taken a dramatic turn as the megaprojects bill, which would have allowed the team to freeze property taxes for a potential Arlington Heights location, has officially collapsed. With the Illinois General Assembly's spring session deadline looming, the Bears find themselves in a precarious position, caught in a whirlwind of political maneuvering and competing interests. As fans, we need to analyze not just the implications of this setback, but what it could mean for the future of our beloved franchise. In a surprising twist that could shift the trajectory of the Bears stadium saga, new proposals have surfaced. One particularly intriguing idea is gaining traction, allowing municipalities to establish their own stadium authority. This plan could pave the way for Chicago to create a competitive proposal that matches the property tax assurances the Bears were seeking in Arlington Heights. It's a move that could keep the team anchored in its historic home, igniting hope for fans who want to see the Bears remain within the city limits. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has been vocal in his desire to retain the Bears, and reports have indicated that discussions between the team and the city have persisted, much to the dismay of Illinois lawmakers who believe the Bears were fully committed to their Arlington Heights aspirations. This tug-of-war has raised eyebrows, especially given the Bears' recent statement that they were focused solely on Arlington Heights and Hammond, Indiana. Yet here we are, with Chicago potentially back in the mix if Springfield could deliver a solid proposal. Illinois Senate Minority Leader John Curran has confirmed that the Bears' leadership has not severed ties with Chicago, which is crucial. Curran stated, "I think we're still waiting for feedback from the Bears reviewing the concept. And then from there, it really would be up to the city of Chicago and their due diligence in coming up with the most competitive site and really packaged development package for the Bears to consider." This indicates that while the Bears are evaluating their options, Chicago isn't out of the race yet. However, let's address the elephant in the room. The NFL is pushing for a swift resolution. The league wants a new stadium project underway, whether that's in Arlington Heights or Hammond. The pressure is mounting, and while it's heartening to see Chicago trying to step up its game, the reality is that the Bears need certainty and speed in this process. The question now becomes whether the Bears would be willing to finance the stadium's construction if it means relinquishing ownership to the municipality. This is a significant point for fans to consider since it affects not only the team's financial structure, but also its long-term viability in whichever city it calls home. As we dissect these developments, it's a critical moment for Bears fans. How do you feel about the prospect of a Chicago stadium? Are you optimistic about the city's ability to craft a competitive proposal? Or do you fear that the allure of Arlington Heights and the whispers of Hammond might pull our team away? Share where you're watching from and your thoughts in the comments below. In this charged atmosphere, the stakes couldn't be higher for the Bears. This isn't just about a stadium. It's about the identity of the franchise itself. Can Chicago rise to the challenge and present a compelling case to keep the Bears at home? Or will the allure of a new beginning elsewhere prove too strong to resist? As we move forward, every development in this saga warrants our attention. Next, we'll dive deeper into the implications of the Bears' decisions regarding their future and what that means for us, the fans, who are the heart and soul of this organization. As we wrap up today's discussion, let's dive straight into a crucial aspect of the Chicago Bears' future, their stadium situation. With the grit and determination that the Bears showed last season, making the playoffs in 2025, it's clear that the team is not only looking to maintain that momentum, but also to solidify its place in the postseason landscape for years to come. But how can they host playoff games consistently without a state-of-the-art venue? Arlington Heights has emerged as the frontrunner for the Bears' new stadium, but recent legislative developments have thrown a wrench in those plans. Reports indicate that the property tax break legislation, which the Bears were counting on to facilitate the construction of their new home, has failed to garner the necessary votes in Springfield. This is a significant setback for a team that is keen on building a future that includes a modern stadium capable of hosting Super Bowls and other major events. Legislators are scrambling to devise an alternative strategy that could keep the Bears firmly rooted in Illinois, or perhaps even in the city of Chicago itself. The stakes are high, as the threat of the franchise relocating to Indiana looms large. As we all know, the Bears are not just a football team. They're a cornerstone of this city's identity, and their potential departure would send shockwaves through the community and fan base. One of the proposals under consideration would empower municipalities, including Arlington Heights, to establish their own public stadium authorities. This could pave the way for a tax-exempt public stadium that would not only serve the Bears, but also benefit the local economy. It's worth noting that a similar piece of legislation has already been enacted in Indiana, which is aggressively pursuing the Bears as their next major sports franchise. The competition is fierce, and Illinois lawmakers are well aware of the necessity to act quickly to keep the Bears from making a costly decision. This situation underscores the pressure the franchise is under to find a viable solution for their stadium needs. The Bears are not simply looking for any venue. They want a state-of-the-art facility that can accommodate the high expectations of their fans and the NFL's aspirations for hosting premier events. However, it seems that significant hurdles remain before any groundbreaking occurs. For fans, the uncertainty surrounding the stadium situation is undoubtedly frustrating. The Bears have a storied history and a passionate fan base that deserves a home that reflects the team's legacy and ambitions. As we watch this situation unfold, it's important to stay engaged and voice your opinions. Where are you watching from? And what do you think about the Bears stadium plans? Are you hopeful for a resolution that keeps them in Illinois? In conclusion, the road ahead is fraught with challenges, but the Bears have always been a team that fights for what they believe in. Let's hope that the legislative efforts in Springfield bear fruit, and we see a new era for the Bears in a stadium that matches their aspirations. As we follow these developments, be sure to subscribe and share your thoughts on the Bears' future. Your voice matters as we stand together in support of our team.